joining us tonight. We got a tremendous topic that we want to talk about because there's probably very few people that have not at some point in time had a leak in their RV. So we've got Sealtech Manufacturing coming up soon, but I'm going to bring John up here and we'll give you a little recap of the week's activities. Hello, John.
Bob, good evening. How are you today?
Hey, thank you. You might hear some thunder and lightning in the background. We're having some torrential rains, and that might set the dogs off a little bit, but what the hell?
Hey, Bob, just a moment ago, I heard you say a leak in an RV, and I need to correct you because RVs don't leak. RV roofs don't leak. So no matter what you say, RV roofs don't leak.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you told me that, man.
But
hey, let's.
It's ironic. It's ironic that we have our guest tonight because we've experienced at least 7 days of 90+ degree heat with intense sunshine. And I don't care what kind of RV you have, whether it's an entry level or whether it's a big diesel pusher made by a leading manufacturer. There's caulking up on those roofs that is heat sensitive. Although the label might not say it, there's nothing that you can keep at those high temperatures that doesn't have some impact on that caulking. And you know what? Combine that with the interstates. As you know, we just got back from a 4,000-mile trip. Our last trip, we lost 2 hubcaps because of the condition of the highways. So add the temperatures, add the intense rain right now, and you've got the recipe for roof problems. So you hired the right guy to come as a guest tonight.
And our guest is going to talk all about that. Locally, if you've been watching the website, you've seen a bunch of awesome audio videos that John and I have been doing the last week or two. We wanted to get them up on the site early so that you could see what the dealers are doing. But universally across the board, every dealer came out the gate really strong in August, and they're setting records for the first week of August already. Tomorrow, we hope to post the first of some of our awesome August deals. We've asked the dealers to come up with something special every Friday that we can post for you to bring you out to their dealerships. Cold Springs RV is continuing their 40th birthday bash this weekend, Saturday and Sunday up in Weir, New Hampshire. And if you checked out the video that I did with Scott Silver this week, you would have seen their new propane shop and their new. We talked about the propane shop and then the body shop and the new service center. And I know I was up to see Logan and Lane up at Vermont Country Campers, and they're continuing the Boss is Away sale, even though the boss is back in his seat. So he's watching the
sale must have gone so well that they decided to keep it, even though the big guy's back.
Well, I joked with him that he counted the inventory as soon as he came back. And you were down at Arlington RV, and they're celebrating their 70th anniversary. And I guess they're going to have something coming up pretty soon. What did Jay say about 70th anniversary?
I think it's like the week of the 18th. It's the week of the 18th.
Okay.
I can't discuss it now, but I will tell you this. It is going to be something like you have never seen before. And I've never seen this concept before for attention getting to get people to come in to see some RVs. It's just going to be, it's going to be cool. So, you know what, next week, what are we today? The 8th? Yeah, we're at the 8th. It's the 8th because it's my second granddaughter's 7th birthday. So we have to wish her well. And she's an avid RVer, by the way.
Is that Mila?
No, Reese. Mila's little sister. So she'll be coming RVing with us this weekend. But, the other thing that I noticed at the dealerships that I went to is they're all selling well. They're having record years. But you know what? They did a lot of ordering in the spring and summer because they knew it was going to be a big season. And there's a lot of dealers that have a lot of inventory left on the lots. And they all said to me, before we went on air, they said, make sure you tell our viewers that we are in a let's make a deal mode. So if the price on the window, throw that out. And that means nothing. So this is the time. And it's like the end of the year with the car business. They want to get those 18s off the lots, because I was out in Elkhart 2 weeks ago, and the lots of the distributors, not the people that the transport people, they are brimming with product ready to come out east to
yep.
enjoy.
We found the same thing
here
in the ones that I visited, and Campers Inn still has their FR3 Forest River FR3 gas motorhome overstock sale, and Lee's Family Trailer Sales in Wyndham has a big fifth wheel and camper sale going on with cashback rebates. We also did a video this week with New England RV Roof, and just based on the video that you did, good. You tell them what happened. You did one video and tell them what happened.
Well, you know the details of it, but I will tell you this. I went down to their place in Plainville, which is right near Foxborough Stadium. They have a facility there that is specifically designed for doing RVs, and I had to get up on some scaffolding. And I thought there was a stairway to get up there. I didn't realize there was a ladder. And
I did it last time I was there.
Yeah.
Right.
When we got up on that scaffolding, I mean, they had that roof stripped down to the metal. And once they start applying that process, and I would say, it's 3/16 of an inch thick of a rubber solution that hardens. But that's like a quarter of an inch.
That wasn't where I was taking you.
Okay, so I guess they got some calls after that. You know the numbers better than I do about how many units.
But they also got one job out of it, and
right.
Our friends up in Maine, and they're going to have their unit done just on the strength of the video. And I think our friend's comment was, if John likes this, then I'm going to have it done. He's got an older coach. And then Harvest Host, you did some Harvest Host while you were out in Ohio, and they've heard from people who want to become a host on there.
Yeah.
Also,
it's funny because one of the places that we stayed at with Harvest Host was right next to where Jerry is now. Jerry is at Geneva on the Lake in Ohio, and it's like, Jerry, if you're there, it's like the Hampton Beach of New England. It's got every little fried dough stand, and it's like a mecca for people from Western New York and Erie, Pennsylvania, and Cleveland. They all come there. And I don't know what campground you are, but there's a number of campgrounds, and it's right on Lake Erie.
All right. I don't know if you heard that. And we got Laura coming in from Connecticut. Hello, Laura. And we really appreciate you sharing a lot of the videos. I think Laura looked at every one of our videos and may have shared every one of our videos. Well, let's not waste any more time. Not that we're wasting time, but let's get into the real meat of the operation here tonight, and I want to introduce you to Scott DeLaderante. And Scott, welcome to RVing in New England. I see you got a little pet friendly there. Welcome to the show, and we're looking forward to a great conversation with our viewers. We've already got people on the line.
Oh, thanks, Bob and John. I'm happy to be here.
Is that a mini pincher?
Yeah, it's a min pin. It's my
min.
Yeah, just turned a year old.
So, Scott, we're trying to figure out, we stumbled through your name. Is that like Dutch or something?
French Canadian. We were sent over here in the 1600s to trade with the Indians, and we set up in Quebec initially, and then upper Michigan.
Yeah. The funny thing is you've got your dog there. I think Zagami's dogs are doing all the noise making.
Yeah, my dogs are going crazy with the thunder and lightning. I'm not sure where I could hide them in the house to make them disappear tonight.
Right. Yeah. But you know what? I see Jerry, who's out in Geneva. He said it's more like Revere Beach. So, Hampton, Revere Beach, whatever. But you know what?
Hampton's a couple of steps above that. Scott, you've got an incredible machine. We've talked to you a couple of times, and you're one of our newest associate members with NERVDA, which we appreciate. And I'm going to run down a list later on of our deal is. Tell us how you get into this crazy business.
Well, for me, it started, I'd say around 2005. I ordered a brand new motorhome from Elkhart, Indiana, from one of the RV manufacturers. Times were good, as you remember. 2005 was pretty good, and I'm a licensed builder or a carpenter by trade. And business was good. I did a lot of home remodeling and that kind of thing. So I ordered a motorhome in 2005 and took delivery of it. And when I did that, I also went and did a factory tour when they were building the RV to see it go down the line. And and that was pretty interesting. They showed me their $100,000 rain booth that they had for testing RVs, and that was very impressive. And so I took delivery of the motorhome in 05 and started using it. But right off the bat, I had a leak that was dripping over the passenger seat. And so I, thinking I'm a pretty smart guy, I tried to find the leak several times and couldn't find it. I caulked different things. I brought it into the dealer for service a couple of times. They caulked some things and couldn't find it. And it kept persisting. And I know what water can do to a home, let alone an RV, after a certain amount of time. So it was very concerning to have a brand new motorhome and all those payments in front of me, and it leaks, and nobody can seem to find the leak. So,
how long did you have it before you found the leak?
Well, the leak probably occurred the first year,
okay.
So it didn't take long, and it was just it only leaked obviously when it rained, and I think rained, and I was driving, so it needed that combination to leak. I think it could get rained on when it was parked, and it didn't leak. So after a couple of years of being very frustrated trying to figure out where this leak was, and I couldn't do it, I had something came in the mail where I have a recall for the TV up above the seats on the coach. So I had to bring it into a different RV dealer for that recall to get repaired. And while I was there, they had this sign up, Sealtech leak testing. They'll find your leak, 149 at the time, I think it was, or 179. And so I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do this leak test while you guys have it here. I'd love to find the leak. So lo and behold, they hooked up the machine, and like 5 minutes later, they called me out to the service department. And then right underneath the gutter area up by the passenger seat, there was a little space about a 1/4 inch long that didn't get caulked during the manufacturing process, and it was leaking there. I just didn't think that the water could go around and go up and come into the coach that way. So I never saw that or anything. So they showed me. I went home, I caulked it and sealed it, and it never leaked again. So that's when I kind of got, thinking this is a great tool. This is unbelievable. I couldn't find it. Nobody could find it, but they found it in 15 minutes with this machine. Well, let's fast forward 3 years later. Go ahead.
Let me just stop you 1 second. They would not have been able to see it just by sitting in that seat and looking up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Any technician can get up on the roof and say, oh, a branch went through here, or there's some obvious bad caulking here. But there's still 100 different places a coach or RV can leak, and it's really not that visible to your eye. It could be so many places that just aren't obvious. So fast forwarding 3 years later, 2008, and that's when we had the crash, or the economy kind of took a dump, and I'm here in the home improvement business, and nobody's calling me. Well, I remember this machine and that experience I had with that dealer that did the Sealtech test. So I've always been self-employed my whole life. I have to figure out, I have 4 kids, a family. I got to figure a way to keep things going. So what I did is I bought a used machine. I went down to Indiana and bought it from a dealer that happened to go out of business during that 2008, 2009 period where things were really tough. Bought the machine. I bought a little trailer and started a company called RV Leak Finders, mobile leak testing. And I hit the road with my motorhome and went down south to Florida and started doing on-site leak testing. I was at a campground. I asked the campground owner if I could put some cards on the desk and do this kind of thing. And it's pretty non-intrusive. You just need a little bit of water and, plug the unit inside the coach of the RV to do the test. So it's not like you're running power tools out there and disrupting people while they're camping. So it was a pretty simple thing to do. They gave me the okay, and I started doing leak tests in 2009, and it just paid off. People's enthusiasm about getting their RV tested for leaks when they know they have an issue, or even the people that don't know they have an issue. People were always happy to see me come, give me my check for doing my work, and happy to get it done. So that was, I started that business in 2009, and fast forward again, 3 years later to 2013, I kept in touch with the owner and inventor of Sealtech up in British Columbia, Canada. They were still experiencing the slow part of the business, and I've always showed enthusiasm towards wanting to be like a North America representative for Sealtech. And I was able to buy the company in 2013, so we moved everything from British Columbia over here to Michigan. I'm about 35 miles to north of Detroit, and we continue to manufacture the best machine out there, or the only machine out there, for finding those hard to find leaks in RVs.
Well, you know what? That's very, very interesting, the similarity between, Bob, this story and Harvest Host, because the Harvest Host people were RVers that wanted new places to go to. And you wanted to find out your leaks. But I think it's very important for our audience to understand that you were and maybe still are an active RVer. So you know the issues that are there. And it's different than just, you know, being an investor or a Wall Street guy that has never been in an RV in his life.
No, that's the whole thing. Since I was a young boy, about 11 or 12, my dad would rent maybe a 12-foot travel trailer and take all 6 of us, which meant our 4 kids and my mom and dad, and we would travel around the Great Lakes of Michigan and all that as a young kid. When I got old enough, I had to start having my family. I bought a beat-up old motorhome. I fixed it up, and I started taking my kids all around the place. And to this day, if I talk to my kids or you talk to them, and their fondest memories are when we went RVing in the motorhome. And the first time we took it out, we spent the night at Camp Amico gas station, because it broke down on the way up to Mackinac. But we still had a great time.
Mackinac, okay.
You know,
RVs don't break.
You know,
they don't break down.
As we go along here, you're going to find out. You're going to find out our viewers are a very integral part of our audience. And Jerry Plant, who works at Majors RV, that they do Sealtech there, and that's what I had mentioned to you when I was down there last week. Yeah. Jeff told me about the Sealtech machine. But but Jerry is in Ohio right now, and he's heading to the UP next week. I'm going to suggest that you guys, you know, Jerry, if you go up through Detroit on 75, you guys should hook up, because Jerry does a lot in the RV thing. RV.
Go check out the factory. Another thought just came to mind too. We got Jason Cole on, and Jason and Lisa are the state directors in Rhode Island for Good Sam, and they're very good friends with Rhonda and Joe, who are the state directors here in Massachusetts. But Jason, I've got an idea for you. It just sprung into my head. But you know, John and I get these crazy things.
I'll bet you I think I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Mass Good Sam in Rhode Island, depending on their finances, should either buy a machine and split it, or one of you should buy the machine, and when you have your rallies, because Scott will tell you how easy it is to use it, and he used it as a mobile tech. Imagine having a trailer, Jason, that you could take to the rallies and hire somebody to do the test at the rallies. You'd pay off the machine in no time, and the proceeds goes to your Halo's Wish charities. So look, next time you get an adult beverage with Rhonda and Joe, you guys kick that thing around, but I'm sure Scott would work with you on that too. But I think that would be a great way, and John's waving his finger at me. Go ahead, John.
There's one other factor here with Jason, is that he can check for roof leaks without using a ladder. He's so damn tall. He's so damn tall that he could check for roof leak, and you know, without using a ladder. But Walter's asking how much. You know, the funny thing is, when you go to the website, which is what, rvleaks.com.
Yeah.
It's aimed at both the consumer, but it's also aimed, and Walter wants to know how much they cost. If Walter wants to
Walter picked up that on that right away, because he's going to be the incoming state director for Massachusetts. Costs about $4,000, right, Scott?
Yeah, $39.95 for our steel unit. We just released this spring a new aluminum unit, which is cutting down my chiropractor visits by 50%. It's 30% lighter than the old machine, and it's just as reliable and well built. And if not, there's a few pluses to the newer machine, at the aluminum unit. But yep, they're both available at our website, and we have them in stock, ready to go anytime. Somebody can just go there, make a few clicks, buy it through PayPal, and we ship it the next day. Free shipping in the United States.
Scott, let me ask you a question, Scott, because I just got back from a 4,000-mile trip.
Okay.
And I think that the interstate highways are in absolutely horrendous shape.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong in my reasoning. The factories can do everything right. You know, put it through their rain test and et cetera, et cetera. But a combination of heat, cold, and travel at 65, 70 miles an hour on bad roads, even the best unit that comes perfectly clean out of the factory is going to be subject to this change, right? I mean, to the leakage.
No doubt. The expansion and contraction that goes on, the bouncing down the highways, I know exactly what you mean. I just went out west this summer also. Some of the roads are beautiful. Some of them are miles and miles and miles of thumpity, that kind of stuff. So, you know, you could have your RV tested today, and then you take it out west and do a couple thousand miles. You come back, something else could open. We at Sealtech believe that everybody should at least do annual leak testing. There's got to be at least once a year that you leak test your RV.
You know, you bring up a very important thing. Where, let me see, Jerry just mentioned that I-90 was terrible. Well, I-90, I know for a fact, because I just traveled it, between Buffalo and Erie, Pennsylvania, even has a sign up saying rough road. Now, my theory is this: if they can go through the hassle of putting a sign up that says rough road, why can't they fix it?
Well, there's probably millions of dollars of differences, but okay.
Right.
But you guys bring up a good point, though. You know, sometimes people are critical of the RV industry because of the leaks. The fact of the matter is, they build very good coaches, but we subject them to things that you would never subject your house to. And half the time, it's a consumer problem, not a dealer or a manufacturing problem, because the dealers the consumers many times are not well educated on the preventive maintenance that they should be doing, or the things that they should be going back to the dealer for. Now, you could say the dealer has to educate them on that. And to Scott's point, if the dealers advertised the testing, did the testing, they're going to generate money for the test. They're going to generate needed repairs afterwards. It's really nobody's fault. These are RVs.
Yeah. And it's just, there's just too many openings in an RV. And the truth is, even, you know, this last fall, I did a couple seminars with Gary Bunzer about the importance of Sealtech leak testing, and he taught a class to technicians, and he got somebody to drop off a trailer and a fifth wheel for us to do tests on. So them knowing that we were going to do a test on it, you'd think we'd get the best that they had, but we found leaks in both of those brand new units. So I am getting more and more customers that are now manufacturers that are buying the machine and doing testing, and that's a good thing. But when you think about a rain booth, if you put an RV in a rain booth and you keep it there, you can only keep it there a half an hour. They don't leave it in there for a day. What's the chance of that leak really showing up? It could be in a wall, in a cabinet, before it really drips in the RV and the technician finds it. You know, that's just insane to think that's the way to find a leak, where the water comes into the RV. You got to find where the water is penetrating the RV and then fix that, and not try to find what cabinet it's coming out in.
That's true. And many times when you see the water, whether it's under a cabinet or under a slide out or a rug, that's not where the leak is. And
never.
It's like having a cavity and not going to the dentist. When you finally have the cavity and go to the dentist, the problem was 6 months ago or a year ago. Yep. It's been eating away at you. And those things are important. And Jerry brings up a good point, and we talk about this almost every week. Jerry Plant says, I'm constantly, I'm going to put that right up there, because I think that is such a good one, Jerry. Constantly amazed of how
Jerry
little
works at a service center.
know about the RV. What's that, John?
And Jerry works at a service center. He's not just a consumer. I mean, he's an RV right now, but he also works at a place. Now, one point that I want to make here, and people think that, well, you know, the product came defective from the factory and whatever, and let's throw that out. The product came perfect from the factory. It made its way through the rain testing machine, etc. But if you keep the unit out, and this is regardless of where you live, whether you live in the Northeast where you get 100-degree weather like we've got right now, followed by sub-zero weather where we'll get, you know, in December and January, and that RV may be staying outside, but even if it's inside and not heated, you got the caulking that's subject to cracking, okay, and movement, etc. Now, what I would think, you know, and I'm a marketing expert, so what I think is important. I say that tongue in cheek, but I think that people, you know, you check your oil every 3 or 5 or 10,000 miles, depending upon whether you have a diesel unit or a gas unit. Okay, you check your tires every couple years or every time you go out, but you change them every 5 years based on the date. I think everybody, as part of their annual ritual, whether they do it in the fall or spring, should have their unit seal check, right? Seal check, is that it?
Sealtech leak tested.
Sealtech, because of the damage. Look, you said that you were in the home improvement business.
Yep.
You know that if you got a hole in the roof and that wood starts rotting, that rot doesn't stay just in that piece of wood. I'm not a scientist, but I know that water seeks its lowest level. So it's going to keep going. And if it finds itself on your plywood floor, that plywood floor and water don't mix.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, we did a video with Mike at RVs or Us a few years ago where he showed the, they said $100 leak turns into a $5,000 repair.
Right.
Okay. Because that water just dripped in.
Okay.
Whatever. Can the dog talk? Can the dog talk? He can.
What do you want to ask him?
I don't know. Just have him say something.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, we got Cody Newman checked in. He says, "I'm here 18 years in RVs. 18 years as a consumer, Cody, or 18 years fixing RVs, or as a technician." Let me do this because we're getting a lot of good comments there. I want to read down the list of our NERVDA dealers who have the Sealtech machine. So we've got Campers Inn in Kingston, Campers Inn in Merrimack, Campers Inn in Raynham. I don't see the Union on here, but maybe they'll add one in Union. Cold Springs RV up in Ware, New Hampshire. They're going to be busy with that thing in their new service center that they just built. We have all three Camping Worlds in New England, Berkeley, Chichester, and Conway. We have Crowley RV Center with Tony. And Tony, I want you to see something. If I hold this up the right way here, how can I do this?
Go back. Go to your left.
Tony, see that right there, Tony? And the reason I'm doing that, Scott, is a couple of weeks ago we had Mike Happy, the CEO of Winnebago, on. And we proudly announced all the Winnebago dealers in New England, and we left Tony off the list, which he reminded me of.
Bob left Tony off the list. I remembered him, but Bob left him.
That's right. And Diamond RV Center, Flag RV in Uxbridge. Flag has it, and they do a lot. They do everything, pop-ups to motorhomes. Lee's Family Trailer Sales up in Windham, Maine, has one. And I think after he watches the show tonight, Dan Craffey, he's the new owner. When I did the video with him last week, said he had just put another mobile technician on the road. And Dan's a really sharp business guy. I suspect that Dan might be one of our first dealers that'll put an RV leak mobile tech on the road with one of your systems. The Roberts family, Frank Roberts and Longview RV has it. And a good word, we like to mention Shirley every week. Shirley's out of the hospital. She's home recuperating after major surgery. With Fran, she's doing very well. Majors RV, we talked about David and Jill and Jeff and Chris and the Jerry Plant. The team down there do just a tremendous job. Pizza RV centers, all in Massachusetts. That's Plainville, Mass, and that was McDonald's that had it. So Pizza RV in Plainville, Mass. Route 125 Marine RV and Marine, and I just did a video of their tremendous operation. Mike and Chris joined the association a couple of years ago. We love to have them. And our friends up in Manchester and Turner, Maine, Scott's Recreation, they've got one at each location that they have. So you can find places to have this test done. Cody says 18 years in sales and management, RVer since I was just a kid in Camping World.
You're at Camping World now, Cody?
He's in at Camping World and checking in from northern Michigan. So he's out your way, Scott.
Yep.
Jerry Plant had a small leak in the roof around the solar panel, rotted out the wall, the floor, and the couch.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen over a weekend. It happens drip by drip by drip by drip.
Right. You got to stop it. You got to, even if you don't think you have a leak, it's worth getting a test done. Just to make sure you don't. I mean, you shouldn't wait till you find the leak or you see delamination or you feel a rotten floor or or you get mold going. You just want to stop it in its tracks. So spend $150 to $200, get a test.
Scott, if you move a little more to your right, I think that's one of your machines right behind you, right?
Yeah, that is one of our machines right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop myself down so we get a wider picture. Maybe we can get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, is that the entry level one, or is that the high priced one?
No, the high price one, the one that's $47.95. That's the new model with. It comes as a dealer package. It's a banner, a sprayer, a few extras. Both units are pretty much, they look the exact same. One's aluminum, the original one's steel.
You know, can you, how far is that behind you? Just a couple feet?
Yeah, a few feet.
Can you just get up for a second and lift that, show people what that flex tube there is in the middle?
Well, there's several parts. This is a vent bridge adapter to put above if you've got a fantastic fan or something like that. Then you got, this is what mounts to the actual roof of the RV. The ceiling vent. This apparatus goes up and mounts over the ceiling vent.
Inside.
It's flexible. You put the unit on the floor.
Inside.
Yeah, all inside
the RV.
Yep. You hook it up. You hook it up, and you can go to our website and see a few examples of a test being done. And it's very simple. You don't need one of your best technicians to do the test. You just need a guy that gets used to it and accustomed to it, and you can get tests knocked done in an hour and a half once you get used to hooking it up. And you set up the machine, you set the pressure, you go out the door and start spraying it with a garden sprayer with a soapy solution, looking for the leaks, and it's just so ingenious.
That video in the top right, the picture in the top right is the technician getting ready to do the test. There's a video on the website. But Scott, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned something very, very important and actually enlightening. There are many dealers that have the Sealtech machine, but they don't advertise it. And they maybe just their own units, or because they see that they're too busy. So if we've got some dealers watching tonight, or I'll send a note out to them after the show. We sent a note out prior to the show and said we were going to have you as our guest.
Okay.
But this doesn't, this is not a job for your master certified technician. A dealer could hire a retired RVer and teach him how to do this and say, we schedule leak testing on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and you'd probably keep that person busy all year long. And at an average price of $200 roughly these days for the test, the person's going to pay for themselves, but you don't have to take anybody out of the shop, and you don't have to take anybody out of the bay, so you're not losing revenue. Scott, give us your opinion on that, and why you think that's an important aspect for dealers to consider.
Well, I think mobile leak testing, what I used to do, would be a great franchise opportunity, or a great opportunity for dealers in general, just to have a van or a truck that could go out and do leak testing on site at campgrounds, at people's driveways. Like I say, it doesn't need you don't need to bring a whole sack of tools. You need your typical caulks and sealants and the Sealtech machine and a sprayer to go around spraying a soapy solution. And it's just easy to find, or and then you can repair whether it's a sidewall or a roof or whatever kind of leak it is you find. You can make some additional money on the repair. And I just think it's a great business. It's needed. There's more people that want tests done than places to get tests done. And I know in my area, there's certain dealers that do the Sealtech leak test, but will only do it if you purchased our RV from them. So they have the Sealtech machines in a couple of their bays, and they do Sealtech leak testing, but they only want to do it because they're so swamped. They only want to do it for their customers.
I think that's short. I think from a business point of view, I think that's short-sighted.
Oh, I do too.
It is.
I do too.
It is, and the fact is also, if you're a dealer and you're selling pre-owned inventory, couldn't you get more money? And I'm not a dealer. I'm not going to try to tell my dealers how to run their business.
Right.
But if I'm a dealer and I have a Sealtech unit, and I want to do a test on every pre-owned unit that I want to sell, and on that sticker I want to say Sealtech certified, no leaks, and you ought to be able to get
tested or whatever. And you put that, it'd be like the J.D. Power seal of approval.
No, I agree.
Right.
I agree. That'd be a great advertising for them to show that it's been Sealtech leak tested, because there's a lot of posts and there's a lot of things out there about the Sealtech unit. It came out in 2002. So it's been out there a while now, and it took a while to get accepted as the #1 way. But everybody is really coming around, realizing really that's the only way to find a leak, not hose your vehicle down, add water to it, and have a guy in there say, yeah, I see it coming out by the light. You know, that still doesn't tell you where it's coming in. So
you're doing it the reverse way. You're doing it the reverse way, where you're filling it with air, and then you watch where the bubbles come out. It's the same as checking for a leak on a tube.
Exactly.
Right? On a tire, except you fill the tire, then you drop it in water, and you watch where the bubble comes from.
Right. So simple. It's genius, but it's getting it out there and making it available to everybody. I think it's a trick.
Yeah.
So can you answer that question? Can you read that over where you are?
Yeah, we'll work for a laminated roof. What do you mean by a laminated roof? Tell me what that means.
Okay. In the meantime, I think Cody might be thinking that you're doing this from the outside, when in fact you're doing it from the inside, generally from the skylight.
Yes.
Or the bathroom vent fan.
Standard 14-inch vent, and we suck the air, pressurize the inside of the RV, and then you go out and you look for the leaks outside. So, I can't answer his question honestly. I just know it's great at finding all the hard-to-find leaks that you could possibly have in an RV.
How about Jerry's comment there? It gets a little bit more complicated when it's a window. And I don't understand what you mean, Jerry, because I'm not technical. But Scott, what about that?
Yeah, maybe I could answer that. I know when I've tested RVs in the past, and you around a window, there's that rubber that they push in around the glass, and it's not always sealed tight at the bottom. But the important thing is those drain holes in your frame of your window are open, so the water can come in and leak out the weep holes. Windows, when you pressurize an RV and you go out and you start spraying it down, you'll see leaks around windows that there's air coming out, but that's not a necessary leak. So the more tests you do, the more you'll get used to it. Yes, there is some spots that may show bubbles, and you'll have to use your discretion on, is this a leak or is this a normal place where air would escape but not necessarily water come in? So yeah, that's to answer his question. That might help. I don't know.
But Jerry brings out an interesting point about he is an inspector himself, and if he saw the roof that if it had your sticker on it, he would feel a little bit better about it, and that's very interesting.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Much of the discussion that we've had tonight has been based upon how a dealer can generate revenue utilizing your machine. Yeah. I want to give the flip side of the equation as a consumer. Okay. You've probably spent $20 at a minimum to $50 to $150,000 on that thing you called an RV. Okay.
Yep.
Doesn't it make sense to invest $200 to make sure that your $100,000 unit stays worth $100,000?
Right. Because that point you bring up is another big point, is resale value. Now, if you own an RV and you get it tested on a regular basis, and you find leaks before they find there's big damage happening, you're going to get a better trade-in value for this RV than the one you bring up there. The floor's soggy, it smells musty and moldy. So protecting your investment is such a big part of this. It's not, you might not find a leak every time you test it, but if you do and you stop it now, well, there's thousands of dollars you could have saved. So it's really preventative medicine, and I think that's one way to look at it. It's preventative medicine also.
Well, you meant, John, you bring up a good point with the consumers, and I think I saw something on your website, Scott, that you're talking to some of the insurance companies. I would think that an insurance company, if a consumer was having their unit tested every year, and the insurance company knew that, and they knew that they were not going to be susceptible to major water leak damage, then these guys the insurance companies got to get a little bit creative and give them a discount, because the insurance premiums are very high. And I'm always amazed, absolutely amazed, when I walk into some of my dealers and I see a unit stripped down with incredible damage,
right?
And it should be totaled, but the insurance company pays to repair it.
Yeah. I've heard so many stories over the years since I bought the company about things just like that. And And I've had a couple insurance companies come to dealers and tell this dealer, well, you get a Sealtech leak tested before we insure it. So I've had guys call me say, we need to get a Sealtech machine because this insurance company wants us to certify that it's been Sealtech leak tested, because they know it's really the only way to find those hard to find leaks. And that's, again, where the value of the machine comes into play, is it's finding those ones that you can't see, you know?
Yep. You know, another issue that we have in New England, at least, where a lot of people that may camp in the campgrounds in New England that are wooded.
Okay.
Like right now, where Bob and I are 30 miles away from each other, but we're getting a good storm coming through.
Okay.
I'm guaranteeing that at a campground in southern Maine or southern Vermont or northern Massachusetts, there are people in campgrounds that might be under pine trees or some kind of maple tree or whatever, and there are branches that are falling off. Okay.
Yep.
And they might be just doing a pinhole leak in that, but you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it at all.
Right.
And, you know, in our case here, I think a lot of those issues, you know, especially people keep their units out all winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think availability is the big issue right here. I think people know Sealtech's out there. The dealers know it's out there. More and more dealers are purchasing them. I think somebody needs to make these more available. You know, I went from mobile leak testing that was doing great, and I bought the company. Well, I can't do both now, but I think there should be mobile leak testing, you know, at every dealer or a lot of dealers.
I think, you got to hook up with Walter Swenson, because Walter just started a new company. He's getting a trademark now, Swenson's Mobile RV Leak Check, LOL. He might mean LLC, but I think he means LOL. But Walter, you know, he's one of those guys that he'll be the president of Good Sam. And one thing that I found out about a great deal of RV owners is that they're very handy. They're, you know, especially the blue collar guys, they can fix anything.
You have to be. Yeah.
And, you know, you have to be able to, you know, handle a screwdriver and et cetera if you're going to own an RV.
Right.
But another important thing to look at when this test is being done, it prevents you, in other words, when you're going to one of the authorized locations, it prevents you from the risk of injury if you have to climb up on your roof. And you know, I think it was one of the companies that you have a video on, the guy's up there, but he's harnessed to the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I don't care what kind of unit you got, you can slip, fall through the skylight, fall off, and you know what? That's not a fun thing to do.
Right. Well, you know, but that's the other issue I'm thinking about. That wouldn't it be great if every Home Depot had a Sealtech unit, and RV owners that are handy could go rent it and do their own Sealtech test? You know what? Yeah. I mean, because what I want to have as a legacy is this machine go on and save RV owners money and that's really why I bought the company. I didn't buy it to get rich. I make machines. I sell what we make, and I niche out a living. But the real truth is, I've had leaking RVs my whole life. I know it's a problem, and I have in my possession the best way to find the hard to find leaks in an RV. And I just want to help people and leave a legacy of that. This can do that. It can save you thousands of dollars if you just do it once in a while. And that's.
Well, you know what? We're going to go on here. Me and you are here. Zagami is off the air. He just texted me and said they got hit by lightning at his house. So it's ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the John DePietro Show with my special guest, Scott.
Okay.
So, dogs are going crazy. That's what this is so funny because we're all technical here. So he's texting. Yeah. I wondered why he went off the air. I thought maybe he went.
I didn't know why, but
his jacked in. But can you see the comments down there? Walter writes, rebuilt an entire RV from water damage. Now, Walter, I'm going to put you on this, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you in the spotlight here. What did it look like when you took that, you know, the wall or the inside wall or the outside wall? how bad was it? And did it bring insect infestation? That kind of thing. Jerry, then I want you to chime in on that also, because you've got a 23-year-old coach. And like you said, you need to be handy or rich. And I would add one more thing, Jerry, handy or filthy rich. Because when you got a 23-year-old coach, you got a coach that was built well to start with, but you got to keep it up there. So why don't you, Walter, if you can just type in your comment about how bad it was, that would be great. And in the meantime, Scott, you know, Bob mentioned the dealer list. It would have been easier for him to mention the number of dealers in New England who don't have your unit. You know, I think now from an owner of a company perspective, you have an obligation to yourself and to the machine to show these dealers how they can generate additional business from them, and also use them on a unit that is sitting in the used lot and hasn't been. Okay, so here it goes. Can you read that? Roof was in good condition. Roof was in good condition, but the walls and floor completely rotted with ants.
Yeah. Okay.
But the water had to come from somewhere.
Exactly. So it probably leaked down the wall cavity, and that's where it did all of its damage. Comes dripping down the wall cavity. And you mentioned another thing about insects and stuff. And I can tell you from doing all the tests that I've done in the past, these RVs aren't built airtight. And I had a call from a guy up in Canada one time. He says, I just wanted to let you know what we're doing with your machine. I said, what do you mean what you're doing with my machine? He said, well, we have a big rodent problem. We have a lot of mice problem. So what we do up here is we rent one of those smoke chemical things, like a DJ machine. They turn on the DJ machine, they pressurize the RV with my Sealtech machine, and they go underneath the chassis, and they look for the smoke that's coming out, because you can't do a rain test underneath the chassis. They look for the smoke coming out and put great stuff in the holes to block rodents from going in, or insects.
They spray that insulation stuff.
Yeah, so it's a whole. You won't get a water leak on your underneath your chassis, but that's where rodents and insects
coming from.
I know. So it's a whole other avenue that could possibly, you know, help RVers, you know, in that direction too. I don't push that at the website, but it was a neat story to hear him tell me how they do that for people with the mice problem, and they've been very successful.
Yep. So Walter mentioned it took him 85 hours of labor. Again, he's a handyman. He can do that, but you know, and it started with a pinhole in the roof.
Yeah.
And it may or may not.
Yeah, it could have been something like a window. It could have been a vent coming out outside of it. It didn't have to start. Did he say it started in the roof? Because it didn't have to.
Yeah.
It could have.
They found a pinhole in the roof. And Jerry mentions here that he sees a lot of wall damage when he does inspections.
Yeah.
And, again, it's not from water that's coming in laterally. It's coming in water that's coming in vertically.
Yep. And it finds its lowest spot and drips.
Yep.
And leaks.
Yep. Exactly. So, folks, feel free to ask questions. We're going to be on here a few more minutes, see if Bob makes it back. But this is pretty good. We've hijacked the show.
Yeah.
And from now on, it's going to be the John DePietro Wednesday night RV hour.
With Scott as the co-host.
Scott, you can be like our technical assistant. We'll have you on every once in a while, that kind of thing. Okay. But, you know, again, I want to go back to the fact that what's the biggest maintenance problem you see people with roof leaks? I've been told by dealers that the biggest maintenance problems are roof leaks. And it leads to a myriad of other issues as well. Well,
I can't say for sure, but I know when I was doing the testing, it was roofs were there near the top of the list, but not really. There was other things too: sidewall leaks, running lights. There's so many places, you know, just screws or things they attach to the coach on any of the other four sides that could cause the leak. And so roof leaks might be one of the biggest complaints he sees. But as far as me and the repair end of it, where I would find leaks is probably. Actually, it's maybe more like 65% on the sidewall someplace leaking than just the roof. Like I say, a lot of guys can get on the roof, check it out. They'll put caulking down. Things will be in pretty good shape. I think it's amazing if you look at the website there, that one leak that the guy had, and it was going in the mirror of his motorhome, coach, and it was traveling down the wires through the arm of the mirror onto the floor and rotting the floor and sidewall out of the motorhome. Now, everybody went on the roof and caulked all these different things over the years, but until they tested it with the Sealtech machine and they saw the bubbles in the head of the mirror, nobody even thought about looking at it. And when I saw that one, a light bulb went off and said, "Oh my, yeah, that's another great example."
Well,
So
you know, Jerry just mentioned he had a leak where the CB antenna came in.
yeah.
Again, if you have to drill a hole on a roof, you've got an issue.
Yep.
I think we should also say here that as we talk about roof leaks, we're not condoning that people go up on their roof. And I know many times a lot of the RVers, and myself included, I don't even qualify for that weight limit. It's like 225 pounds on those little aluminum ladders.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of fellow RVers that do not qualify for that under 225 pound limit.
Right.
And they can get hurt. And even if they make it up to the roof, I mean, you've got issues to be concerned with when you're up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes doing more damage with improper footwear.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but there's some guys you couldn't keep them off the roof. If you, they go up there and clean the rubber roofs every now and then too. So they're handy. They want to check out their property. I don't blame them, but yeah, I agree. If you don't want to condone our homeowners, RV owners going on the roof, I get it.
Mm-hmm. So we want to thank you so much. We always say 30 minutes. We always go 45 because this is one show that we allow our guests to be part of the show. And we do want to recommend to our guests that whether they're watching it on their computer or watching it on their smartphone, like I have this as a monitor, down in the bottom right, it says share. And what we're trying to do is have the greatest number of people see this. So you guys that are watching now, please share it. And if there are other RV groups that you belong to that you think this would be of interest in, again, we're not trying to sell the unit to the general public. We're trying to make them aware of the fact that they can save thousands of dollars if they do the proper maintenance of their unit. And this is certainly one of the programs that I know I'm going to look into it personally. And we want to let you know that we appreciate your being with us. And we want to let our viewers know that we appreciate them also. So for John DePietro and Bob, what's his name? Oh, Bob Zagami, who's somewhere in an area with no power.
Right.
Hopefully I'll be able to stop the show. And Scott, all I want to tell you is if the show doesn't stop and keeps going, don't do anything in the background that would get any of us thrown in jail. So,
all right. Thanks for having me on, and your viewers can also know if they ever have a question, feel free to call me. I answer the phones. I take care of the.
Give us your website.
Our website is.
Hold on. Here's Bob. Hold on. We're going to take his call over the air.
Okay.
Hi, you're live on the air. You're live on the air. We're still going. We're still going. We're still live. He's got nothing there. So here's what I'm going to do. We're just ending the show right now, and you called. And I said, this is the John DePietro show. See you all. So right now, this phone call is going live on the show. So I'll hang up. I'm going to press stop the camera, and then I'm going to get out of this, and hopefully we'll be out of it. Otherwise, I told Scott, don't do anything on camera there that would embarrass us or get us thrown into jail. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're still going with the show. We said, we changed the name of the show. This is the John DePietro Wednesday Night Good Time Hour.
With Scott as a co-host.
It's Scott. Scott just took second billing.
Yeah.
No. I got him on my phone, but not there. Okay, I got to go. I got a show to do. Goodbye.
Okay, you asked me what's the website.
Right.
The website is rvleaks.com. It's a real easy website, and you can go there and find out about the machine. If anybody has questions, I'm serious. Give me a call, give me a text. I'll answer your phone calls or if you have any questions. So anything I can do to help your viewers.
Thank you, everybody. Bob and I will be back with you if I allow him back on his show next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We'll see you all soon. And Scott, thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks, John.